All right, have you ever felt stuck trying to make snow look soft, bright, and believable in watercolor without overworking it? Well, in today's video, I'm sharing 5 easy ways to create snow with watercolor, including masking fluid, salt, dry brush, and a few of my low stress techniques that let the paper do most of the work. Whether you love loose winter scenes or want more texture and sparkle, you'll be able to mix and match these ideas into your own painting. And I'm curious, which snow technique do you usually reach for first, or is snow something that you avoid altogether? All right, let's jump in. Now, snow can feel tricky in watercolor. Too much white, it looks flat. Too much detail, it turns into this mess really fast. But the key is letting the paper do a lot of the work for you, choosing the right technique for the mood that you want. So here are 5 of my favorite ways to create snowy effects, from soft and quiet to textured and playful. And I do have a bonus one at the end, so stick around for that. All right, number 1, let's just jump right into it. The most simple one is let the paper be the snow, right? That's the simplest and most often effective snow technique. It is just basically untouched paper. So by painting around the snowy areas instead of filling them in, you keep your painting fresh and luminous. And this works beautifully for open fields, for like rooftops, quiet winter lights, soft shadows to suggest form without losing that crisp white. Now, the trick to this one is you really do need to plan out where you're going to be putting things and making sure you're painting around those areas. And it sometimes is challenging to do without masking fluid, but you can do it. Again, you got to plan it out. Number 2 is wet into wet for soft falling snow. So for gentle snowfall or misty winter scenes, wet into wet is absolutely perfect. For this one, you start with a damp surface and you drop in a very light diluted color like the one in the chickadees. You're going to let it kind of move around naturally. You can lift some small areas if you want with a clean brush or even a paper towel to suggest the snow being there. And that creates a very soft atmospheric feel. You also can just drop wet, clean water onto your paper, and that will burst and give you all of that texture in there. The trick to that is timing. Timing is very important because too soon and it just blurs out because the paper is so wet. And if you do it too late, it doesn't work. It just drops. So you don't get that nice soft effect. So it does take a little bit of practice. So number 3 is dry brush for snowy texture. Now, dry brush is a favorite for a lot of people to add like sparkle and texture. I often do it not for snow, but for my landscapes or my watercolor seascapes to give you sparkle on the water. And using a thicker paint and very little water, if you lightly drag your brush across textured paper, that the broken marks instantly feel like icy or uneven or snow on fences, on branches, ground textures. And again, for my seascapes, it gives it that sparkle across the water. A really good one to have in your toolbox. All right, number 4. This is one of my favorites. This is a salt for that frosty crystalline effect. It creates that beautiful, unexpected texture that feels icy, very organic. And you want to use this again while your wash is still wet, not soaking wet. It's kind of, again, a timing thing, but you want to make sure it's still glistening on your paper, and then sprinkle a small amount of salt into areas that you want to have that burst. It's always fun too to try different types of salts, like sea salt or some thicker, coarser salt will give you some different textures. And if you want to check out my video, I will link it at the end of this one, where I go through a bunch of different options for you with the salt. You want to let it dry completely before you brush it off. That is very key, and don't leave it on there for too long, or sometimes it's hard to get the salt off. You also want to dry it naturally. You don't want to use a heat gun or something, because that can set that salt into your paper and it's really hard to get off. So this works especially well for skies or for shadowed snow. you know, adding that frosty crystalline look like I did in these birch trees. So just a quick note on the different salts that create different effects. Table salt will give you that finer texture. The kosher salt or sea salt creates that bigger, larger pattern. And I actually have a jar that I keep on my desk with all different types of salt, so I never know what I'm going to get. I got a little bit of everything in there. So number 5 is masking fluid for crisp whites. Now, masking fluid is great when you want to clean, bright snowflakes or highlights that stay white. You want to apply it before painting. Again, it has to be thought out, so you need to know where exactly you're going to be putting it. You also want to let it dry fully, and then you can paint freely over any areas that the masking fluid is not on. Now, here's a little bit less conventional way and my bonus feature I was telling you about. If you actually wet the paper first and put a soft color on it, like this soft gray, fill it all in, and before it dries, and you want it very, very light, before it dries, you're going to take a toothbrush and you're going to splatter that masking fluid onto your wet paper. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give you these soft little snowflakes, these little bursts of snow, and it looks so magical this way. Once everything is dry, you can then gently remove the masking fluid to reveal sharp pops of snow. All right, and number 6 is gouache or white ink for final touches, which if you guys have been following me, you know I absolutely love this, and this is my go-to. For that last bit of magic, white gouache or white ink is perfect. So I've been using a lot of Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White, and you want to use it sparingly at the end for falling snow sparkles, or you can do it for highlights, catching light. It adds movement and contrast without overpowering the watercolor underneath. And the key to it, again, is using it sparingly. Now, it's okay if you go overboard, and sometimes I'll especially like that for paintings that I'm maybe not completely happy with, and it does cover a lot, but it still gives you that wonderful mood where you're like in the middle of a snowstorm. Before we wrap up, I just want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon members. Your support truly keeps this channel going, and because of you, I'm able to share all these free tutorials, tips, and paint-along videos here on YouTube, so I am so grateful for you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, a subscribe, and share it with a painting friend. It really helps the channel reach more artists who love watercolor. And let me know in the comments which one of these techniques are you excited to try next. And if you'd like longer real-time paint-alongs and full tutorials, I have linked my Patreon below. I'd love to have you join us. And if you're interested in the rest of these tutorials or longer versions of them, I will link them here. You can watch those next. Thanks so much for painting with me, and I'll see you in the next video.